go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday, June 30th, 2023, the last day of Q2, the last day of the second quarter of the year, the last day of the first half of the year. And man, we've got ourselves a big fat green day out there in the crypto market and out there in the stock market. What a day, man. Okay, so welcome to Markets in the Morning. This is where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market and the stock market as we get ready for the market to open, the stock market to open here in the next minute. We'll take a look, of course, here in the crypto. We'll look at stocks. We'll look at gold, metals, the dollar, any kind of news that may be important today. We did, in regards to economic news, really one piece that stood out to me was just that PCE came out today. It's lower. Another inflation indicator showing us inflation falling, beating expectations. Big dip there today in inflation expectations. But holy cow, we've got a green day out here in the cryptocurrency market. Man, I will take it all day. What a way to end a week. It's been an absolutely busy week this week for me. As you guys know, it was the launch of bcbacker.com. Getting this thing all up and running was a big deal, but also today, for the old course, I put out a market update, and then I wrote a newsletter today. I don't even have that available. Anyway, I wrote a newsletter and published that late last night. So it's been like this big stretch of 16-hour work days for months on end. Today was my last day of that, or last night, I guess technically was my last night of that. So today is a normal day. We'll do markets in the morning, and then I'll get a video out later today. And then this bro is off for the weekend. So give you guys a chance to go check all of this out over the weekend on bcbacker.com. But okay, let's go ahead and dive on in. And I think today is just going to be kind of a fun stream because, boy, who doesn't like seeing all that green in there? You got Bitcoin Cash up 21%. You got Litecoin up 20%. You got Ethereum Classic up 16%. You got Zcash up 14%. Dash up 11%. EOS up 11%. Any of those names sound familiar? The ones that are at the top of the list? I think some of you guys might recognize those ones in particular are all at the top of the list. It's funny. But just green all throughout the whole crypto market. And with Bitcoin sitting above $31,000 as we kick off this Friday. The stock market set to open, which just opened a minute ago, up green. So we have the Dow up 166 points. We have the NASDAQ up 162, and then we have the S&P up 33. So the Dow is up 0.5%. The NASDAQ is up 1.13%, and the S&P is up 0.75%. Green throughout most of the market in here, with the leaders being Roblox and Coinbase up there. So Coinbase, again, just on a crushing crush. I don't know what to call it. It's killing it. As for gold, as you know, we've been pulling back this past week. That's been a good sign for those cheering for equities and those cheering for the crypto market. And then the dollar has been down this morning. A little bit of a drop there for the dollar. But as for crypto, as for Bitcoin, you guys know it. We've been watching this whole ABC correction through all of April, May, and June. June, of course, just giving us that big push right back up here as we get ready to finish the quarter, the half, the month off. And, we've been watching this correction happening in here. Are we about to get ourselves an exciting little weekend pump? One can only hope and wish for it, and I certainly am. And I'm on. Oh, come on. Let's go. Let's get this thing on the road. I mean, it's just an exciting time because that's the end of it. That would be the end of a bullish correction happening in there. That's ABC corrections are what happens in uptrends. I teach all about that in that content on the new course. But when we see these ABCs, these are what happen in uptrends. And we are acting just like an uptrend that got really wild back in 2020. So hopefully we could see ourselves a nice little breakout here for Bitcoin. And looking on the right side of the screen is how green that altcoin market is. It sure is looking pretty dang optimistic out there. So, what a rock star start. Bitcoin Cash, of course, is getting all the way back up in here. So this is a pretty resistance here for Bitcoin Cash for sure. It's amazing how it only took 10 days for it to work itself back up. You can see Litecoin is attempting to get its break. Also, you can see Litecoin, it's in that same area, and this is the spot where it's been stalled out here for months on end. But look how long it took Litecoin to just work its way out. And that's how crypto is, man. You get people just who cannot handle prices sitting low for a long time and then forgetting that this market can say, hey, I can catch up to Litecoin and I can do it in 10 days. And it certainly has. Well, Litecoin did a nice grind to get there. Bitcoin Cash got there in just a week. And that's, by the way, that's 13 months of price action taken back in less than 13 days. And we see that just all the time in this market, and people really forget about it and think that things are different this time. But as for Litecoin, we'll see if Litecoin can get itself a breakout, man. That would be pretty amazing if it could. But lots and lots of green over here in the market. Just kind of an exciting time for sure. Looking over here, so like, what are we looking at now? Now we're looking at, can the stock market indexes get themselves a breakout? I guess starting next week. It'd be crazy to see it happen today. It would need a whole lot more juice today to get it. Dow is now up 200 points, so we're still scooting up over here in the stock market now that we're getting our opening happening in here. But we're going to be closing out this week here, it looks like, at these retraces. Let's pull up let's stop looking at futures. Let's go ahead and look at this. There you go, Dow, 702. S&P, there you go, trying to get through and finish a week. Did it close last week? Let's go look. No, so we'll see if we can close there. So get a nice break throughout the rest of the day and keep that close going up there. And then looking over there at the NASDAQ flipped green for the week. Currently, if it closed here, it'd be the highest close that it's had dating back to January of 2022. So that's a year and a half. And there we go. There you go for the NASDAQ. So these are the big things we're all watching for right now, right? With Bitcoin kind of teeing itself up, looking at a retracement. Can it actually keep going? Or is it going to get stopped out at retracement levels with the stock market? So there we go. Now Bitcoin's taking a little bit of a step back here. Wonder what's going on. Do we have some kind of something happening? But that's a pretty big 1 minute candle. Let's look at that. Look at that 1 minute candle. What are we missing? We're missing something for a 1 minute candle like that to happen. Let's go see if there's anything on Twitter. But all right, lots of green. Let's see what else we got. Is there anything in the stock market? Let's go look. There's something happening. Okay. SEC says spot Bitcoin ETF filings are inadequate. So we're dumping on ETF? What? There you go. There you go, guys. I find that unlikely. I find it unlikely that it'll impact that. I'm gonna bet we hold it. One would not think that ETF filings are the things that are holding this thing up. All right, we'll watch it. My bet's we're still gonna hold it in here. So that's what we just get right now. We got the SEC to come out right now. So I'm seeing that. That's from Zero Hedge. So that's the quickest one I'm seeing right now. I don't know if that means that there's a denial of all ETFs or what that could possibly mean. Either way, market's still holding up very green. And this is a 1 minute sell-off. My bet, from experience of being in this market, right, we've seen the ETF thing dangled. That's why we just don't really even talk about it much here about ETF rumors. Because ETFs historically aren't like good. And if you don't know that, the peak of the Bitcoin bull run was marked with Bitcoin futures, and the bottom of the Bitcoin bear market was marked with ProShares Trust short Bitcoin ETF, right? That was released here in June of 2022. So this is the release of the short version of Bitcoin. And whenever these things get approved, they typically aren't good for the market. It means there's too much euphoria in one way or the other. In this case, what was happening in June of 2022, everybody was massively bearish. Everybody wants to short Bitcoin. What happens? The market recovers from there, right? So in regards to any type of ETF coming out, I wouldn't be wouldn't be putting all my marbles on that being the mega bullish thing. But boy, that is wild. Look at that sell-off that happens on the mark of the SEC saying we're not doing it. I would have never thought that this market was in any way pricing in an ETF as being important. We'll see if this is just a quick shakeout. We'll catch it live. Why are you ruining our Friday, SEC? Get out of here. I had the frog all ready to go. We're ready to go, man. So there you go. We'll see if we can get any type of recovery there. Let's take a peek over there at the stock market as the stock market is rocking. It's on this page right here. Stock market up, Dow up 200 points. NASDAQ up 1.1%, and then the S&P up 0.84%. Immediately, look at that. Coinbase takes the turn back down to the downside, losing 3% on this. Let's see if we can. They're not going to see the news over there. But okay, that's what you get. You have an instant, quick sell-off. I would just completely imagine that this is temporary. I could not imagine it being anything more than that. I would be surprised if this market was pricing in an ETF as being bullish. I guess that's just from years of experience. Maybe the class of 2021 would be true in for that, but any of us OGs know that an eventual approval of an ETF has historically marked tops. SEC protecting customers more like wrecking. FOMO the like button, right? Friday. SEC is saying not today. That's their typical MO. But I'm gonna kind of have a guess here that this is a fake out happening in here. But boy, that was amazing that we caught it live. You could see it happening all in a 1 minute chart, right? So likely what happens here too is at the same time, what you have is you probably have leverage built up in here. So when you have these, like, you can just like kind of see it all, right? Here's our low. Higher low, 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 higher low. Very easy for a bunch of people to enter in, and then for them to set all other stop losses at the same time. So when we see these things happen, and there's going to be, of course, selling the news immediately, but then at the same time, it gets amplified by all traders who probably made their entries at the lows and then set their stops below the next low. Enter it below the next low, below the next low, and then eventually, once this thing goes cascading through, it just takes them all out in a minute, which is kind of what we saw happening in there. So we'll see if this thing can hold itself coming off of the news of the SEC. And I haven't seen anything more on that. I'm just seeing SEC says spot Bitcoin ETF filings are inadequate, and that's being reported by Zero Hedge. See if we get anything more here. And that came from this Wall Street Journal citing sources. So the Wall Street Journal is citing sources. Anybody seeing a good article out there to say that? Because that's a pretty aggressive sell-off, but it's, again, probably going to be stops getting taken out at the exact same time. Champloo, WTF is happening? Well, we're getting a quick sell-off this morning. What was an exciting morning, then the SEC came in right when the market opened to go ahead and put a damper on the morning. Welcome back, SEC. We missed you. You disappeared for a couple of weeks. Again, I'm going to bet this is temporary. Seems highly unlikely that it's anything more than that, but we'll see. Just bought more XRP. Pump it. What did XRP get down to? XRP's down to 46. Let's take a look. There you go. XRP at interesting pricing. All those gains from today are gone in a 5-minute candle, right? Man, the SEC, dude, they are something, dude. Either way, the range continues. So at least in this markets in the morning, now what once turned into, hey, we're up 20%, 22%, up 15%, up 12%. We're back down to even. Or is Bitcoin even in the green? Bitcoin's down 0.75% after once the market opened, the SEC and Wall Street Journal. So I don't know. Is there anything real to the Wall Street Journal? So the thing with that, when you look at them and you see 1 minute candles, it makes you think that one, kind of coordinated, and two, that it is stop losses triggering. So we'll see if we find the support in here. I'm gonna make the best guess that we do hold the supports here during the live stream, and hopefully we can find ourselves a little bit of recovery before we wrap the thing up. But boy, there you go. Markets in the morning, probably one of the more intense mornings that we've had. Massive green, followed by the SEC saying the spot Bitcoin ETFs are not adequate, according to the Wall Street Journal, is the only thing I'm seeing on here. And oh, here we go. Here we go. We're going to read this. We're going to see if this is any good. We're going to do it together. Boom. Here we go. SEC says spot Bitcoin ETF filings are inadequate. Regulator tells NASDAQ CBOE that recent filings from BlackRock, Fidelity, and others aren't clear and comprehensive. So what time did you release this? 5 minutes after market opening. Okay. The securities so this is Times News, right? This is an interview between the Wall Street Journal and supposedly the SEC, right? The Securities and Exchange Commission said a recent wave of applications filed by asset managers to launch spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds are inadequate, according to people familiar with the matter. Okay, so this entire thing, this entire sell-off we're seeing happening right here is happening all here in 1 minute, right? Look at this, 1335. So you're telling me, look at this, think about it. You're telling me this article can get released, and within the minute of it getting released, you can have that happen. You're telling me that the market was able to digest all this information and conclude it as being valid. It's interesting. The Securities and Exchange Commission said a recent wave of applications filed by asset managers to launch spot Bitcoin ETF traded funds are inadequate, according to people familiar with the matter. So anonymous sources, we don't know who they talk to. The agency informed exchanges NASDAQ and CBOE Global Markets, which filed the applications on behalf of asset managers, including BlackRock and Fidelity, that the filings aren't sufficiently clear and comprehensive, the people said. Prices of Bitcoin and other crypto-related stocks have surged since mid-June when BlackRock filed paperwork with the SEC for an ETF that holds actual Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency has climbed 20%, rising above $30,000 for the first time since April. Coinbase shares, which is listed as BlackRock, have soared more than 30% in the same period. A wave of traditional and crypto asset managers followed in BlackRock's footsteps. Fidelity Investments, Cathie Wood Ark. Yep, all these companies followed for their ETFs. An ETF that tracks the actual price of Bitcoin would mark a watershed moment for the industry. The SEC has repeatedly rejected such funds going back to 2017. Investors and analysts view the bid by the world's largest money manager as the best hope yet for a spot Bitcoin ETF, particularly because of its near perfect record. Some industry watchers predicted that BlackRock's filings would appease the SEC's concerns through an agreement to share surveillance of spot Bitcoin. Yet the SEC told the exchanges that it returned the filings because they didn't name the spot Bitcoin exchange with which they are expected to have a surveillance sharing agreement or provide enough information about the details of those surveillance agreements. Asset managers can update the language and refile. A Man, it is really rocking now. Look at this thing. Holy cow. Well, we're obviously getting a sell event on this news. So what is very interesting about it is it happens the literal moment that article is posted at 35 after the hour, right? 5 minutes after the market opens. This thing is posted literally right then at that time. And the market was already ready to go. It just went rampaging. Here, we can have some fun with this too. I do pay for a premium account, so I can do it by the second. So this thing, here's what's weird, right? This is weird, and if you say whether this is time to put your tinfoil hat on, this thing starts going 20 seconds into the minute, right? So you're at 13:35, 20 seconds into that minute, it's going. So somehow the market within 20 seconds of this article being posted gets rocking. That's crazy. All right, we'll see what happens here. Get us back on a more respectable time frame like the 1 minute chart. I'm just kidding. All right, well, there we go. Interestingly enough, we'll see how the market responds to this news. But wow, what a dramatic turn of events from being what was once exciting to an immediate sell-off once we have news of a Wall Street Journal article that doesn't cite sources and claims them to be people familiar with the matter, and the people said appears that we are getting a sell-off immediately upon the release of an ETF filing not going through, or people familiar with the matter believe the SEC is not going to approve the ETFs. We'll see how it goes. Gary Gensler. I've been taking a power nap. What did I miss? Get out of here, Gary. So, man, unfortunate start there to the morning. We'll see if we can get ourselves a little bit of a rebound here as the day gets kicked off, and hopefully we can have somewhat of a recovery, as we were seeing a very good day over here in the stock market to get ourselves going as well. We have the Dow Jones up 200 points. We have the S&P up 42. And we have the NASDAQ up 213. So the NASDAQ's almost up 1.5%. The Dow's up 0.6%. And the S&P's up 1%. One has to wonder, is this the SEC playing their timed games again? Once again, as we were looking pretty set to have ourselves a nice strong little morning here with the rest of the stock market. SEC shows up and the market sells off immediately within 20 seconds of this Wall Street Journal article being posted saying the SEC says spot Bitcoin ETF filings are inadequate. Gets posted 5 minutes after the market opens this morning, and within 20 seconds the sell-off begins and it becomes a straight line down on that news. So what a weird morning, to say the least, man. I mean, we're just over here minding our own business, being like, but we'll see how things go, man. Maybe they'll turn back to the upside. Maybe it's just a shakeout. It doesn't seem like we need to have a technical pullback down in here, but maybe it's just another timed attack from the SEC, which we know we've already had timed attacks from them. For those who watch this channel, from April through June, looking for our cruel summer to come in, the perfect timing of the SEC to show up in here to create a bunch of fear. We know they've done this before. And we know they did that with the XRP price chart as well. 5 days after Bitcoin broke out into its new all-time high in 2020, that's when the whole altcoin market tends to go. The whole altcoin market did, but that was the moment that the SEC put their attack on Ripple. 5 days after the breakout of the new all-time high back in 2020. So these guys are notorious for doing things perfectly on time. If you don't think they're doing it on time, then you have to believe it's completely a simulation. You have to believe your world is already pre-programmed. Or the more logical thing is that these guys are timing when they're doing their stuff, and it's more so this is puppet masters pulling the puppet strings. So, all right. Otherwise, we still have stuff holding up. We have a lot of stuff still holding up, but clearly this news has taken it for a turn this morning. But we'll see if we can get ourselves a hold here for Bitcoin. You know, for those who, like I mentioned, ETFs, futures, those types of things, historically, they're not good for the market. I wouldn't have thought, out of all the news that you could get, a Wall Street Journal with anonymous sources saying that it seems unlikely that the current form of the Bitcoin ETFs will not get approved. I would never in my wildest dreams would assume that would be the narrative to get a quick sell-off like that, because ETFs and futures, the market tends to do the opposite of when they actually get approved. Whether it's a Bitcoin short ETF that marked the bottom, or when we had Bitcoin futures enter, the whole market was rallying, thinking that futures were a good thing. The day futures, I believe it was the day that futures got initiated in the stock market, was the day Bitcoin topped in 2017 and 2020. So the whole market was rallying for the super bullish Bitcoin futures are going to be added. And the day that it got added, it marked the top of the market. And then right here in 2022, we saw it right when the Bitcoin short ETF, BITI, BITI, when you got this ETF added of short, what does that mark? That marked the bottom, right? And then this ETF has obviously gone down drastically because that marked the bottom. So people looking for a Bitcoin ETF, my always thought would be that would be bearish when it does come out. But hey, what do you know? You get an article coming out, and within 20 seconds, the algorithms were ready to go ahead and get going to town. That's the thing that makes me think this is very odd that you could have it happen, and within 20 seconds of the minute, we don't know if that was released exactly at the start of the minute or if that was released right there, but it happened because I can put this on seconds, right? We can put it on 1 second. Let's be real degen. The 24th second of the minute started the insanity, and it had already fallen from 31,000 to 30,800 in 13 seconds, based off of an anonymous source reporting to the Wall Street Journal. That is bizarre. So, all right, we'll see if we can still continue to hold in here, as this appears to just be some wacky weirdness this morning after quite an exciting morning, as we had most of these up in here. When we watch the replay of this, it'll be interesting to see it all happen. We had all these like up 20% up in here, tons of 10%ers and 8%ers. We have the stock market that, again, is crushing it this morning. Let's take a look at the stock market once again. You have the Dow up 230 points, up 0.68%. You have the S&P up 1%. You have the NASDAQ up 1.4%. You have Roblox up 5% as the big winner. You had Coinbase sitting in second place there as the big winner. Then 5 minutes after the opening, you get a Wall Street news article with anonymous sources, and Coinbase flies to the lows, along with crypto going down with it. As for metals, gold still sitting down here after the pullback from the all-time high, and the DXY, the dollar, having a pretty decent sized fall today. So all elements macro-wise looking fantastic for crypto, especially with it being the last day of the quarter, the last day of the half, and the last day of the month. Stock market surging into it. We were surging as well. But the literal moment, and we watched it happen live, that this article got released by the Wall Street Journal, we got ourselves just an instant sell-off over there in Bitcoin. And we've even looked at it on, like, with this premium account, I can look at it on the 1 second chart. It happens just seconds after this article is released. Big, massive sell-off. So, with these types of sell-offs, I always try to explain these when we have these kinds of massive sell-offs on whether or not all of this is sheer panic selling. I doubt it, because, even us, we're watching it here live. It's kind of like, wait, what? Like, having to process that information that quickly and then try to make a rational decision to try to find where's the article, what is the reasoning, what is happening, what happens to make that type of sell is you have triggerings of sells that are happening, but then you also have all of these happening where you have just series of higher highs and higher lows that are happening in here. All these higher lows are placed with stop losses. So they're a cascading liquidation dream happening in here. We have now just gone and taken them all out. Maybe it was, a big player wanting to go grab all of those really quick before we shuffle our way back up. But if so, then we would have already done it. They have all been grabbed, right? So it has grabbed literally every single one, even this one from back here on June 22nd. Anybody, think about that for a second of what happened right there. Anybody who has placed a stop loss in here for the last 8 days, just got it taken away from them. Their Bitcoin just got sold for anyone who had a stop loss dating back to June 23rd. So the market just went and scooped all of it away. We'll see if the market goes for a recovery now that it just went and robbed everybody of their stop losses. All right, jumping into the chat here in a second. Let's see. All right, so there we go. Now we're back above $30,000 for Bitcoin as every stop loss has been taken. And we'll just kind of keep it here for a minute and see if we can watch anything happen here. All right, but anyway, we have a really good start out there for the stock market today. The dollar is falling, and we still do have a lot of green over here in the crypto market. We have several things up over 10%, even after this chaotic price action happening, and several with 7, 6, 5s. So lots of big numbers sprinkled everywhere, but really a lot of this is due to optimism also coming over there from the stock market at this time. But if you're just tuning in wondering what the heck just happened, we all got to watch it really live happen here as a article came out from the Wall Street Journal and started getting shared all over Twitter right there at 9:35 Eastern time, which is the exact time right here on the bottom of that screen, 13:35 UTC. It's 9:35, triggering prices to just go crumbling right there the second this article comes out that is based on people familiar with the matter and the people. There's no references of sources of who these people were talking to, but a timed news gets released this morning after we were having a very strong morning here in the cryptocurrency market. Now that every single stop has gone and getting wiped out, we're about to watch and see if that was the big boys at play. So for stop lossers, anybody who day traded this range in a bullish form with a stop loss, they just all got their stops taken right there. Now it's time to see, will the market now decide to go for the rip to the upside now that they've all been taken out? So pretty much all like long leverage just got wiped, right? I wonder if let's go to see if we can see that. We'll be able to see that. Bitcoin liquidations. Here we go. So in this hour, we've had $86 million of liquidations happen here. $78 million of them were long. That's quite a bit for just that, for that quick of a time period. Pretty decent sized here. I don't want to give it to you guys in dark mode because then you're going to be like, hey, wait a minute, we kind of like that. Can we keep doing that? Why are we always in bright mode? $86 million liquidated in the last hour, which as we all know, is the last 20 minutes or 25 minutes, and $78 million of that was long. So people who were betting on the market going up, using leverage, got wiped out in half a second there. So Bitcoin's sitting back at $30,000 now, recovering a little bit and holding steady here a little bit after going ahead and taking out every single stop loss that has been placed over the course of the last 8 to 10 days. Unbelievable. All right, so that's the thing too. So at this point now, it's kind of like, all right, cool. We've done all that. That's very nice. Let's go ahead and hold here. If this was nothing more than a stop loss hunt, then we shouldn't be continuing to go down really any further than that. That was just it. It was a big fat chase, and it just wiped out all liquidation. Now it's time to hold steady. But boy, it sure is interesting how that can happen, right? That you can do that, and to kind of see how that is also automatic selling that happens in there, right? It happens there at 9:35 Eastern time, the second the article is released. Then it continues till 9:47, and then now it's kind of held for the last 16 minutes. So it's 12 minutes of insanity followed by 14, 16 minutes of not. So likely just automatic liquidations that just took place as you have over a week and a half of them that just got stopped out. But all right, either way, you got Bitcoin Cash still coming back up now again. You're back at 15% for Bitcoin Cash, back at 11% for Litecoin, 7% for Zcash, 6% for Ethereum Classic. And then you got Dash, XLM, EOS. All familiar names there, huh? All to the upside. Bitcoin Cash is still holding up there, but a massive move for Bitcoin Cash, up 200% in the last 10 days. So hoping to see this same style stuff come out of the rest of the market here very soon, as we have this same structure set up in many places. But gold down, dollar down. Or gold's not down, but just in general, it's slightly up today. It's up $6 today. But dollar down, stock market ripping. Right, stock market, Dow Jones up 200 points, S&P up 45 points, NASDAQ up 224 points, up 1.5% for the NASDAQ, up 6% for Roblox, 3% for NVIDIA, 2.5% for Netflix, and over 2% for Tesla. Coinbase was sitting up there in the top, but once this anonymous article came out on the Wall Street Journal, they dropped right back down to the bottom. So we'll keep our eyes on it and just kind of watch. I'll hang out in the chat here for a little while now. Boy, this wasn't how I was expecting my morning to go. We're all doing just fine. And then this dingus article comes out and just immediately sends a cascading liquidation to happen throughout the market here on a Friday. But I'll hop into the chat. We'll keep this up on here. We'll see if this thing can go ahead and recover itself. And if this was just a little bit of stop loss hunting and chasing that happened in here, coordinated on a Friday to finish off a half and finish off a quarter. All right, GSML says, TGI Friday, BCB. Thanks for always remaining humble, brother. Would you mind sharing your faith story? Would love to hear it. Have a great weekend. Oh, sure, man. For me, I tried to believe in God and Christianity as a child and as a teenager. I went to church and did all that stuff. I could never do it, man. I tried really hard. Tried to be a good guy. Could never do it. And then eventually just had to kind of hit rock bottom in my own life. As you know, I've been sober for over 10 years. That was kind of that moment where it all happened. Kind of took life kind of just like going deeper down the darker path, and things just kind of spinning out of control. And then finally, once I came to the conclusion that I am not the grand master of the universe, and I do a pretty crummy job trying to control everything around me, and kind of recognize that, life is really just butterflies flapping in the wings, in the wind. A lot of events just kind of happen to us. We can try to make small adjustments for it, but when you kind of think about it with life and how things happen in your life, a lot of times that has a lot of random things to do. For example, I think I talk about when I met my wife, right? It was actually because I just had a friend over at my house. One time when I was a teenager, I was 14 or 15 years old. I had a friend over. And I asked him, hey, man, do you know any girls? And he's like, yeah, I do. I know this girl. Let's call her. And so he called, and, this is back when we had landline phones, right? We're sharing the phone. And that girl gets on the phone. It's like, whoa, dude. Cool. Do you have any friends? And she had her friend over. And that friend is my now wife. But that's the only time I ever hung out with that one friend ever that one time. And had that one friend not come over to my house, and had we not done that phone call, I would have never met my wife, because my wife and I were not in the same grade. We just didn't run in the same circle. It likely never would have happened. But we started talking to each other a lot back in the day in AOL Instant Messenger. Hello, AIM. And but would that connection have ever happened between me and my wife had my friend not come over that one day? Right. And so I'm not saying that in particular is God, maybe it is. But when you look back at your life and a lot of the things that are happening to you, wherever you are in your career or anything like that, it probably also dates back to one random thing that you did. Maybe you knew one friend who worked at one place, and then you met them, and you could eliminate small little connections in your life and realize, had that connection not happened, your entire life's destiny and the path that your life went on would have been completely different. And so the point I'm making is that there is so much kind of randomness to our lives, so much stuff that is out of your control. We try to super be in control, but there's a lot that's just not. And once you can kind of accept that, it makes it a little bit easier. And I've had a lot of miracles worked in my life, and whenever somebody like comes up to me and I'm not here to judge people on their faith in any way, because I'm not perfect in any way. But I always appreciate it when somebody's like, yeah, I kind of like hit rock bottom in my life, and that's when it happened. And I look at that person, and I'm kind of like, okay, you got it then. Right on. But somebody who's like, oh, I'm like, I'm active in the church and I do this and I'm a perfect person and you need to do this or else you're going to be a bad person. I'm like, okay. You might just be acting here. This might just be like part of your, like, makes you feel good to be like this. But always like when people like totally hit rock bottom and they were able to pull out of something, that's always a cool story for me. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, no, it was just about just a big change in my life that happened. All right. Thank you, GSML. Anti-Krapic says, time for BCB, new course this weekend. Much love. Whoop, whoop. All right, sweet. Thank you. Zoltan says, finally, I have time to get the BCB course. So happy. Yay, it's Friday, right? Dude, let's see. Hopefully we can pull this thing back up out of here before we head into the weekend. And you say, oh, well, I meant this toolkit for crypto. Nice day today. Nice day to all. Thank you, Zoltan. Linton Dell says, 2003 to 2008 S&P doubled and GLD tripled. Well, I already know you're talking about a ranging context without even looking at that. March through August of 2020, S&P up by 60%, GLD by 40%. Could we see the same again? I know we say they don't run together usually. Well, you're not paying attention though. Bull runs. Just because the S&P did this doesn't mean it was in a bull run. It may have had big percentages up and down, but then it went down big percentages, up big percentages, down big percentages, up, down, but it was in a range the whole time, right? Meanwhile, gold's only doing that. And so anytime you're looking at those ranging contexts that are happening in here, like I've done extensive on this, and I have people debate that all the time. It's like, listen, you got to pay attention to what I'm saying here. We're not talking about little ranges and percentages. We're talking broader, big, massive bull runs, and new all-time highs. They don't go together. And so like your 2003 to 2008 on the S&P, that's a range, right? That's not a bull run. So we've seen that even now, right? We've seen that gold has gone back up to the top of its range. At the same time, all stock market indexes have come back up into the top of their range, right? But have either one of these gone to a bull run, right? Has gold gone into a bull run? Has the S&P gone into a bull run? Has the Dow gone into a bull run? Nope. They're all just in ranging context, right? And so if we're going to talk about gold, or if we're going to talk about the S&P, right, we're talking large ranging context. So you said 2003 to 2008, but that's just part of a ranging context happening in here. Whereas if we look at what's happening, right, this is just a big broadening wedge, broadening triangle, right? That's all that is. That's not bullish, anything. It's just a range in here. But if you throw gold on top of it, what do we think it's going to look like? Right? Gold goes into gold's in a bear, right? Notice how the S&P is in a big fat bull. So S&P is in this big giant range right here for forever, right? It's just ranging back and forth, right? Gold goes massive bull run, right? What happens right here, right? The S&P is finally leaving the range. It's finally going. What happens? Gold says, all right, good night. S&P, big, massive bull run. Gold, big, massive bear market. Then what happens? S&P enters ranging context, right? Oops. right? S&P enters ranging context, and then what happens? Gold finishes bear, goes into bull. Then the second that S&P leaves ranging context and goes into bull again, off and away, then down and away, we go here with gold, right? So gold then goes into bear for the next 7 years, right? So as for starts of big bull runs, there's just no real, like we can look at little stuff and see like this, and we're like, oh, look, they're going together. But when it comes to real bull runs between the two, they're happening at the opposite times of each other. So there's a big thing happening different in the market each time that these are occurring. But thank you, Lennon. I hope that helped. Jordan says market manipulation. Let's take a look at this. So if you're just tuning in, right, we have 2,163 people. As we rock the set here on this Friday, please remember to hit the like button. Super important. And happy birthday, Gibbs. This is funny. This is funny. Eric, are you listening? Eric, are you listening? You ready? Hold on, Jordan, I'll get back to you. The next one, edit, undo. I've watched every minute of every video, and I've never heard you talk about VeChain. Oh, it's a joke. You got me. It's like a dang XRP Productions video. You caught it yesterday. You must have been laughing. I was talking with Eric yesterday. We were cracking up. It was insane. We're like, dude, that guy has never watched a video. Hey, I watched every video. You never talk about VeChain. It's like, oh my gosh, get out of here. Get out of here, bro. All right. Okay, all right. Editor, dude, you got me, bro. Good job. Jordan X, I'll come back to you. Jordan X Rod. Market manipulation at its finest. I'm about to clock into my first McDonald's night shift tonight. Anyone need a hot fry or a milkshake? I've finished a big old challenge yesterday. I've been eating very healthy, tracking my food, doing all that stuff. I had McDonald's for dinner last night. It's been a little while since I've had that. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't that great. You know, I mean, it's good. McDonald's like does the trick, right? You're hungry, man. Dude, just go grab a double cheeseburger for $2.25, right? Go get yourself a chicken sandwich or a hot and spicy or whatever they have and some stuff, and it'll hold you over for a minute. But was it worth it? No. Well, but tonight I think we're having cheese fondue, which if you go out to eat fondue, it's like really expensive, but you know you can make it at home. So we do have those little fondue pots. You can buy them at Target. They're like $30. And you can just go buy yourself some Gruyere cheese and some Swiss cheese and with some chicken broth and lemon juice. You can actually make your own cheese fondue at home. And it's like $10 versus whatever the heck it costs at a restaurant. So that's always fun. We're doing that tonight. But good luck at McDonald's. we were all about to rock it this morning until our little timed little news release came out here. But here's the good news. Look at the market. We're turning back to the green. We're turning back to the green over here on the right side. Most of what's visible on the page is now back in the green. Edit, undo. I've watched every minute of every video, and I've never heard you talk about VeChain. Joke. Course is being bought today. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much, Edit, undo. And you got me, bro, because I was sitting there cracking jokes yesterday with Eric about it. That you obviously know exactly what we're talking about and why we were cracking the joke. All right, thank you, sir. Jassim says, "Hey BCB, it's actually Jassim." Okay, Jassim. I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know why I say Jassim. Jassim. Anyways, well, no, it's cool, bro. Jassim, I want to get it right, man. How do you feel about the development growth on CSPR, and how would you measure its potential using fib retracements this cycle since there's no last rally before capitulation? I'd probably just be using the peak, and I'd be doing it on the market cap, which is why like I'm not too excited about it, because what if the market cap goes off to a 4.236 extension like we saw with Ethereum, like we saw with Ethereum Classic, like we saw with Bitcoin? You don't have much room left in Casper. Casper's actually gone all the way back to its all-time high, but token holders haven't, because the inflation absolutely diluted the market cap. So whoever the recipient has been, wherever you guys are looking in your white papers to see who's the one getting all these tokens of that massive supply that happened, they're the ones who reaped all the benefits of it. So if it's going, I don't know what you guys have, if you have enterprise alliances or foundations or what have you, if those are the recipients of all those tokens that got printed for the last couple of years, they're the ones who took all the money. And meanwhile, token holders got left kind of wrecked on that. So if the market cap goes to a 4.236 extension, as we saw for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ethereum Classic, just kind of figure out, like I teach on the course, right? Go to CoinTrader Pro, pull up the market cap for Casper, and then take a look at that and see how much percentage away that is. Now, Casper, I believe, has corrected a lot of their inflation. I believe they're down to like around 10% or something now. It's not astronomical like it used to be. But figure out how far away is a 4.236 extension from the market cap using the percentage measurement tool like we talk about in there. And then apply that to the price chart. Like if it's 200% higher for the market cap, well, then go do 200% higher on the price chart and see if it lines up and if it works that way. Or it'll tell you what the number is. It'll tell you where it could go to, right? That's what I'm not owning any of that. I'm not interested in messing around a whole lot in stuff that has just that. I don't know why. I don't know why it rubs me wrong. I don't know anything about Casper, right? The only thing I know is I went and tried to talk to him at Consensus 2023. I went up to their booth. I tried to I got the standard pitch, right? Hey, we have all these partnerships and we're working with these companies and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, great. Can you tell me what does the partnership mean? Do you look over at the other person? Do you know what it means? No, not really. Okay. What does it mean that you are working with them? Can you tell me what that means? No. I could tell I was being given a very standardized pitch. And maybe those people just weren't trained. They were just sent out there to do that. But they didn't know how to answer they had their pitch, but they didn't know how to elaborate on what any of it meant. And that was alarming to me because the booth was already the least impressive booth that I'd seen at Consensus. There was very little preparation put into their booth in regards to marketing materials. And it just felt like there was not very much preparation put into the people who were sent being educated on able to know like what to say. I kind of asked them if they knew a couple of famous names in the communities and people who talk about Casper a lot. They didn't know who any of them were. I was like, okay. They, of course, did not know who I was. But I'm like, hey, no. But I just wasn't that impressed. And then the inflation thing, it's just weird to me. It's just weird to me. Who was the recipient of all that inflation? Who reaped the benefit? Because the market cap has done very well. The market cap went back and hit a new all-time high. There's no coins that have done that have gone back and hit the all-time high on their market cap. But the inflation has wrecked Casper so bad. Somebody was getting all those tokens. Somebody was getting all those coins, and they stole. Like, it's not fair to say stole. They reaped all the benefits. But the people who had the coin did not. They got totally wrecked by it. So I don't own any. Alpha Trader. BCB is explaining the CSPR story for the one new person in the chat every day. I know. All you guys do it. All right. Anytime I get a Casper question, I'm moving on. All right. Good luck, Jassim. Pat gives 10 blockchain backer memberships. Hey, yo, guys, we are going to do a members only live stream tomorrow morning. It'll be early, probably. Probably be earlier than what markets in the morning is. So Saturday. If anything changes, I'll post in the community stuff. But we'll do one tomorrow morning. All right. Thank you, Pat. Every day. Thank you, Pat. Gibbs. Found you on BitBoy late last year. Yeah, I saw it was your birthday. Yeah, Gibbs, happy birthday. I liked what I saw, and I've been here ever since. Keep up the good work. Dude, thank you, man. Thank you, man. Welcome. Baby Oscar Hernandez says, bring back AOL chats for the children. Hey, man, did any of you guys miss that? Remember how cool it was? You'd go get on your computer, and you'd have just a little flashing thing at the bottom. Or like in the case of my wife right now, back then in high school, right? I see her screen name flashing down there at the bottom. Or you get the little notification, Bing is online. You're like, yeah, dude. You're like 15 to 16 years old. You're like, here we go. Hey, what's up? Man, those were cool days. Thank you, baby Oscar Hernandez. Alpha Trader. He says, have a great weekend, BCB and fan. Been playing Wick prediction for fun last 1.5 years with plus 85% win rate to date based on Mac and Mike Phibbs crossing. One of my targets with the 53 possibility is the 0.3118 for XRP. Let's see if it hits. Okay, right on, man. We'll see. 31, huh? That was it. 53% probability. That's an interesting probability, man. 3118. That was the number that we were looking at a long time ago, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get that low again, man. We'll see. Thank you, Alpha Trader. You're a supporter of the channel, brother. Appreciate it. Taylor McLaughlin says, Twitter seems to think this is just a pop in alts before we go sideways. Everyone's still waiting on the happening. Is this disbelief? Well, the market's usually going to do what the participants don't, especially what the herd thinks. Whatever the herd thinks is usually going to be wrong. I think we all know that. They all thought $100,000 at the top. They all thought 10 to 12K at the bottom, right? So the herd, and you think that's the first time. It's not, right? What about the summer prior to that, after the Elon Musk sell-off, remember? Everybody was screaming we were going lower. What does it do? It bounces and sets a new all-time high afterwards, right? What about before that? April and May. Laser eyes and diamond hands, right? Did they all get wrong-footed there? And then you have to go back. When was the next low? The low prior to that was all the way down at C19. They all were saying we were going to go lower. The herd always is wrong. So, whatever people think, whatever you're reading on Twitter or whatever consensus you're seeing that you think you're seeing, hard to interpret it when we're just trying to assess a few different tweets out there. But whenever it's like consistently overwhelming in one direction, that's when it's usually tough. The wall of worry is the good thing. The wall of worry, as you climb back up, that's what you really usually want to see. And then finally, when everybody throws in the towel on their bearishness, when their idea is getting validated wherever they are, it doesn't seem like anybody who has a 10 to 12K target has a invalidation level, but it's likely at the 702 retracement. It's likely above $45,000, right? As we get back into retracements, it's likely where it's at. But yeah, no, I mean, Bitcoin dominance is up. If you saw the BitBoy thing, I showed USDT, USDC, Bitcoin plus ETH dominance. And it's very, very much that's been the safety trade. And I think the safety trade is running itself out. So we'll see. Tay Brown.
NASDAQ getting closer to 786. Love you, BCB. Thanks for sharing your faith story. Inspiring for me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I want to say something else too on that really fast. I got 2,000 people in here. Somebody will like this. There was somebody who messaged a week ago, and they said that they were a drunk. Okay. And they asked, what do I do to get my life together? Right. And I mentioned the things of why people typically do that. And it's typically because, one, of your past, right? Two, you have a physical addiction. The physical addiction can always be broken, but the reason why you're doing it is likely to something with your past and coping mechanisms and holding resentments against other people, but then and not able to let go of those resentments. And then at the same time, you probably consider yourself to be a very good person, but you have done things in the past that you are not proud of. And you are holding, you won't forgive yourself for that. Because since you won't forgive yourself, your coping mechanism is to try to block those feelings. But those things can be fixed. And one thing I'd wished I had mentioned the other day, like anybody who's dealing with any type of addiction problems, or you're just not finding hope, that you can go get help. Like, you're going to struggle, very difficult to be able to do anything on your own. You need professional help to help you get better. If you're worried that if you say you go check in somewhere, you go to rehab, or you go to something like that, that those tools are very effective at helping you get better. They really are. They're not as scary as they sound. And you are covered under the Family Medical Leave Act if you're worried about losing your job. That you're covered under the Family Medical Leave Act to go do something like that. And the reality is, if it's gotten so bad for you, it is worth it to save yourself than it is to keep your job. Okay? Forget your job. You will always find another job. Forget your little fancy things, your little car that's so important to you. Go save yourself. And there is hope. There are coping mechanisms to where you can forgive yourself. And that's part of my faith story too, is that you can, I don't push religion on you guys, right? But, in the Christian faith, Jesus died on the cross for your sins. You are an imperfect human being. God knows that you are an imperfect human being. You are never going to be a perfect human being. And once you can accept that, but still try your best and learn to forgive yourself and know that you are forgiven, you can cope better. And I just want everybody to know there is hope. Okay? Don't ever lose that hope. And go get yourself some help. It's worth it. And many times you're covered. You're covered. Family Medical Leave Act will take care of you. Look into it. All right. There you go. Tay Brown said, thank you for sharing your faith inspiring story with me. And just so you know, guys, I'm not here to push religion on you. That's something I just don't do on this channel. But there's been a couple in here asking me how I got there. I'm willing to share that story. But I'm not here to push you in any way. The rational investors, BCB, pull up a dominance, others one-day chart. Do you also see a falling wedge? Falling wedge. And how many touches does your course say a wedge should have to break out? Well, have you bought it? Are you wanting me to give away the secret sauce for free? Anyway, a wedge is technically what? It's a triangle, right? So that falls into the Elliott wave family, doesn't it? So we can call it wedges, we can call it triangles, we can call it whatever we want. But technically, Elliott wave triangles will have 5 touches. And they will be A, B, C, D, E. Or the other way, right? A, B, oh my gosh. A, B, C, D, E. Out. But sir, it sounds like you need to have the resources in the PDFs so you can go access that for yourself. Here, let me show you, per your request. Triangles. As we can see.
I've heard it before, but if
oh
you've watched
boy,
my YouTube...
you're getting freebies there. Okay. There are downloadable spreadsheets on here that do have examples on here along with the questions that you do have. And these are downloadable. You can print them out yourself, and there is additional learning material in here. And there's a lot of these in here throughout the whole course, but of course there is one like little section down here at the very end that has all of the PDFs all in one beautiful PDF. So you can print out the whole thing. I know somebody did. Over here on PCPacker.com, your whole weekend getaway is already planned away for you. Enjoy 11 hours of luxury content that will fill your heart with joy and knowledge, and you'll come back from a restful weekend saying, I've got this under control. There you go. That's my pitch. What does your course say? I haven't bought it yet. Can you just tell me? Bro. All right, Tay Brown, new member. What's up, man? Thank you. Hodling Nate. Hey, BCB. I just want to say thank you for bringing up Atomic Wallet Hat last week. You're the only crypto influencer I watched since mid-2020. So you might have saved me. Oh, no kidding. Well, I mean, we cover the news. You guys realize I forgot to cover the news today, and I forgot to cover it yesterday. The reason I forgot today is just because of what happened. We literally watched the news happen live, and the charts get impacted at that time. So who cares about any other news, right? Sorry, I just took a drink, and you heard me go. No. All right. Cool. Well, I'm glad I helped. Hodling Nate. Shane Sanders Music says, I appreciate you. If I recall, you're a music lover and player as well as a gym goer. Curious, what's your favorite workout starting song more than music? Well, what's funny is, I go to like a circuit training place, so I don't actually listen to my own headphones when I'm working out. So I actually don't have my own workout music. It's whatever they're playing in the gym. So I showed up late to the gym yesterday. I showed up about 10 minutes late because I was working here all morning, and then I went in there and it was my weigh-in day, and I was like, you know what? I just won't work out. I'll just go in and weigh in. But I dressed, prepared to go do it. And when I got there, I went and did the weigh-in, and the trainer was there. He was like, "No, man, you're jumping in here." I'm like, no. He's like, "Nope, come on, jump in, do the weigh-in later." I'm like, well, let me do the weigh-in. So I go do the weigh-in, and then I do it. And I come walking out of the room because you got to really strip down for this thing because it's like a 3D body scan. And then I go to walk out. And he's like, let's go. We jump in. We get going on the training. And then finally we reach the end. And I'm like, great. But then he made me keep working out afterwards because I was late. So I had to keep going because I was late. And then, but he was playing all of his workout music. And he's this young guy. He's only like 19, 18. And he was loving all that gangster rap, which I'm cool with, man. When I work out, that's fine with me. Rock and gangster rap is fine. That's all good stuff. It's that 80. I can't do 80s music when I work out, which there's some people who play that, and I have to listen to that when I'm working out sometimes, and that drives me crazy. The 80s are not for pumping iron. They're for hanging out with your friends and having fun. Just all the girlfriends getting together. Not for bros pumping iron, man. All right. Yeah. I've been learning to play the drums for the last year. So yeah. But I don't have a starting song. I don't have one because I'm always doing whatever they're playing at the gym. But I mean, what it would be. It would be, Cruel Summer, You Belong With Me, You Need to Calm Down. Those would be my jams to start. Thank you, Shane. Grant Dalton. Here, Brandon, your browser might be directing you to the old one. Here you go. I'll put it in here. This will take you to the correct one.
So what happens? So a lot of times, if your browser has really old cookies and you're going to it, it's directing you to the old one. Sunil Bhatti, he says, what? No Taylor Swift? Sir, do you not know what Cruel Summer, or you need to calm down, or You Belong With Me? Do you not know who that is? Grant, thank you, sir. Justin Wiles, TXMC skeleton key analysis for the order of how recessions play out. Noticed after the yield curve inversion, there is market high before the next market low. Yep. Right. I mean, I think TXMC is very smart. I think the stuff he's doing, I think he's right on the big time frame stuff, right? Like we're talking about with the Dow. Like if we get through all these retracement levels here on these markets, right? Like, first of all, if this all rejects from here, like it can, I mean, TXMC is going to look like a genius, right? The struggle that is going to be is if it goes into this new high, how, it's going to be like, well, what happened, right? Like we're supposed to be in a bear. But to just kind of remember that this is what we dealt with Bitcoin, right? Like, the thought was, we could go into a new all-time high for Bitcoin, but it's a big divergence, and that it's reaching out to hit the 4.236 extension. Is he going to look stupid if this is what happens here? No, I won't think so. So I think my idea is if it can even go into a new all-time high, if it can, right? Which we don't know right now. It's at the most dangerous spot it can possibly be at. Is at the retracement levels, along with the S&P. Did I lost everything here. The S&P is at the retracement levels, right? And then the NASDAQ is at the retracement levels, right? So everything's in the danger zone right now. But if it gets out of this, is it like, oh, it's going to go way higher? No, it's that, it's given the warning signs right now that this could be a big danger in here, because we saw Bitcoin do this. We saw Ethereum do this, that this is the normal behavior. The first initial profit taking that happens above the 3.618, right? And then that. And so is TXMC's warnings insane if that ends up being the result? I don't think so. I think his warnings are probably right. Does it mean we won't have a final excessive market? I think there's a good chance we have final excessive market, but it doesn't mean that we don't have a really dark time period ahead. I think we do, right? I think the clock is ticking, and I think TXMC is right on a bigger time frame. I mean, the data, that's what I love about him, right? He's just showing data. He's showing data, and he shows what happens next with data. So I think he's fully right. And either way, if he's right or wrong, he's presenting the data of what has happened every time, right? And that's what's more important than anything. His opinion, a lot of times my opinion doesn't matter, right? My goal is to show you the data, right? Here's the data, and here's what happened. Or here's the data, and here's what this type of correction means, right? Or here's the data, and here's what historically happens when we get back to retracement levels. They typically reject here. Or if they do get through, it's like a really exciting thing. And here's a bunch of examples. And I think he kind of goes with that approach of like, here's all of this data. Now here's what has happened with that data. And so, people are always going to give you crap, and they're going to say, so you don't know anything. And it's like, we looked at the data. You saw the data for yourself. And I think he does a really good job presenting that data. And I think ultimately that'll end up being the right thing. I think the big challenge is, when does that come to fruition? Does it come here at retracement levels? Or was this just the first initial profit take, which, we should all be cheering for, that this was just the first initial profit take. There's still another reach out in here. And then we watch everybody become euphoric all over again at the 4.236 extension, right? But the data will be screaming, run. So, yeah. Boy, I'm far behind. Well, I'm not that bad. I'm like 17 minutes behind. That's pretty good for me. Sebastian. Hey, member since 1 month. Although I have to admit, someone gifted it to me. But hey, anyway,
Haven't been able to watch the stream these days. You missed me. Welcome back, Sebastian. Good to see you, man. Soul Rack, welcome as a member. Oscar, welcome, man. Oscar Hernandez, missed the live chats. Hit the like, everyone. Nothing is forever, not even the lawsuit. Yeah, dude, what if we get the lawsuit wrapped up today? How dope would that be? It is Friday. JB Heavy Equipment says, have you seen the drummer of Esperario Siberiano? He's a boss, plays a lot of rock. He's super fast. No, but like if you go, so like one thing that has really helped me try to learn songs is if I go on YouTube and find other people who are playing them. Do you know how many insanely good people there are on the drums on YouTube? Just everyday regular people. They come in each gender, every color of skin, and every age. It is unreal. And there's some that I just enjoy watching. There's some 16-year-olds on there, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, kids who just crush it that I will never get to the skill level that these kids are at. And what was surprising to me, is going to sound bad, how many women are insanely good at the drums at skill levels I'll never get to, ever. Just there's no chance it'll ever happen. YouTube's awesome. When you want to go learn a song and you just want to see somebody kind of play it, there's plenty of them on there. And then you'll just discover people who you're just like, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Drum videos on YouTube rock. But no, I haven't seen that. Moon Barrel says, thank you for sharing your story. Invited to barbecue 10 years ago. Said I couldn't make it. Got off work and was hungry, so changed my mind. Stopped in for a burger, and I met my wife. Life is crazy. Exactly, dude. There's your story. Let's hear that, right? A butterfly flapped its wings, right? I was invited to a barbecue 10 years ago, and I said I couldn't make it, but I got off work, and I was hungry, so I changed my mind, and I stopped in for a burger, and I met my wife. Life is crazy. Happy 4th. Right? How little... They're just random little events that happen in your life. You're so in control. Are you really so in control of everything in your life? Right? There's just like those simple little things massively altered the direction of your life. And was that really your choice? Right? Or was it just something random that happened? Did God make you hungry at that moment? So hungry for, in particular, barbecue? Right? Maybe. I don't know. Thanks, man. Chris DeLeon, XRP Moon plus $9, then BCB Barbecue Beach Party. Yeah, what did I say? The number had to be $8? $8, and we have a beach party. Look at this craziness. You got the NASDAQ up 1.71%, 255 points. The Dow up 200. The S&P up 1.03%. You have the stock market ripping, as was crypto at the opening, only for the SEC news to come out from an anonymous source at the Wall Street Journal, according to a person familiar with the matter, as the people said. And that sent a cascading liquidation through crypto. And that's been our morning this morning. But fortunately, we still do have quite a bit of green still out here. With our big one still being Bitcoin Cash, just continuing that 200% rip to the upside. Thank you, Chris. Grant Dalton says, no question today, just a big thank you. Thank you, Grant. Oh, it's just those random nice things always feel good. Oscar Hernandez gifted 5 blockchain backer subs. Yep. All right, guys, we're going to do a member stream tomorrow morning. It'll be earlier. So I wake up really early in the morning. Really early. I don't know if we'll do it like as early as I wake up. But like, for example, I was already recording this morning at 4:30. So when I wake up, it's rare now, very rare, that I wake up later than 5:30 a.m. even on a Saturday. So I assume that we will probably be on here an hour earlier than markets in the morning is, maybe an hour and a half. So early birds, it's for the early birds.
So I will post on the community notes when I have a locked in time for tomorrow morning. All right. Thank you, Oscar. Oz says, BCB, I 100% support your TA and your channel. This is your ministry, bro. Freaking awesome. You definitely have a gift and grace to what you are doing. Thank you very much, Oz. Appreciate it, man. Hot Tub Brian, he says, bro, thanks for hitting on that again. That hit me hard last week. If someone needs help, look up EMDR. It can help bring up garbage from your past that you think you've buried and it's still eating at you. Right. So, for example, some of the things that were, one of the things that always ate away at me, I'll share that really quick, was my dad. It was like this issue of resentment that I always had towards my dad. My dad wasn't around a lot when I was a kid, and that really bugged me. I always carried huge anger towards my dad, and it felt like he abandoned me, that he didn't care about me, and he was just never around. And then, I just kind of had to like come to this realization to understand that I'm not a perfect person, right? I strive to be a good person. I strive to be a great person, but I'm not a perfect person. And TXMC posted about this on Twitter the other day too. Like, when we look at our parents, we look at these people and think of them as like these ultimate gods, right? Like these people of perfection, right? Like, that's my mom, man. Like, she's like the best in the world. And then as we get older, we become these parents. And still, even as parents, sometimes we feel like we're faking it till we make it, right? Like, yeah, I got a kid, but like, I'm still that same guy, I'm like that dude. But I'm also responsible for these children. But I'm an imperfect person at the exact same time. And then kind of realizing that, our parents were also imperfect people too. And having to just kind of come to that acceptance that, my dad wasn't around. Was anything personal towards me? Was I the reason? No, I wasn't the reason. I was a kick-ass kid, man. He just had his own flaws. And I really held that resentment for such a long time. And then eventually just had to let go of that and not let that eat away at me anymore and just forgive him. And I think that's a lot of the things that we have to do is forgive people from our past, because we just hold on to that so strongly. And one of the things too, if you ever like work the steps or something like that, and this is the big one. This is the one that changes everybody's lives, is that whenever you look into and this wouldn't be an example like with my dad, but maybe a friend or an ex-girlfriend or something like that, and you hold resentment against that person. Maybe they did something wrong to you, right? They screwed you over royally, right? And you totally will always hate that person for forever. And anytime you think of that person, you walk into a room and that person is there, you just are uncomfortable, you hate them, your guts, and it just eats away at you. Many times, what we will find is whatever that person did to us, many times, was the result of something we did first, right? And sometimes it may not be obvious. Maybe we made a friend feel neglected, or we made a friend not feel special. Or, we did something first, and maybe what they did was worse than what we did first. But whatever we did caused a chain reaction. And many times, if we acknowledge that the reason somebody did something to us was the reaction to something that we did to them, if you go to that person and you apologize for that thing that you did, many times that person will forgive you for the thing, will apologize for the thing that they did. And suddenly that resentment's all gone. The world has now just closed. It's given a big giant hug and everybody's happy all over again. And sometimes with those resentments, you have to go like to that level to do that. But that's why I say go get help, because there are steps, and people who are professionals will teach you how to do that stuff. And like, you'll get rid of all of that. So like, you don't see me carrying resentments around here in crypto and stuff like that, because I know for a fact that crap will eat away at me, man. I don't need that in my life, dude. I just let it go. People want to fight with me, I'll just block you, dude. I don't got time for that, dude. I can't have that in my life, man. And you will realize that once you can like clean up your side of the street a little bit, your coping mechanisms get a lot better. So there is solutions out there, people. Do not feel that you can't.
You're not going to be able to do it on your own though. So you got to ask for help, and everybody around you is willing to help you. Believe me, they want to help you. They want to, and they will. Hey brother, do Elliott waves support a new all-time high in the stock market? I think the only thing it would be like we just talked about with the S&P and we talked about with the NASDAQ. It would just be like touching the 4.236. I don't see anything for any higher than that. I see a great case to argue that the retracements are going to be a problem here. I see a great case for it. Obviously, Dow still hasn't gotten through them yet. But like we've showed this one. We've done the Elliott wave count on here many times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've already got 5 waves, but you are short of the 4.236 extension. However, this drawdown in here is acting more like a distribution schematic, which again, there's a whole section in here on distribution. I don't remember if the PDF has it in there. Distribution. Right, so we have all the different phases in here. So if you're buying climax.
Now that we've gotten through Wyckoff.
Jeez, it's loud. You know how people hate to listen to their own voice? You know what I mean? Like you hate hearing your own voice on camera or anything like that. My kid's like that right now. She doesn't want to hear her own voice. I have to listen to my voice every day. I have to edit it. I have to hear my own voice every day. That's when you learn how to really turn on that radio voice. Like, hey, that doesn't sound too bad. Man, sounding strong. Anyway, what was I doing? Yeah. Distribution phase, right? So like one new peak, right? Does that work? That's really the thing, right? So like you can already be in distribution, have an up thrust after distribution, right? Where we have an up thrust in phase B, where we do have one more that the actual 5th wave completes, but then there's still one new peak to eventually end up coming. So I could see that happening, which would be a 4.236 extension reach out, but I don't see a count to go much higher than that. So I think that's only like 5 to 10% higher than where it's at, and that we're actually in the first phase of distribution, right? Like that. Hot Tub Brian says, I'm currently working through some garbage and alcoholism, and guilt from the past is a major factor in trying to turn your life around. You're a stud. Thanks for everything you do on this channel. Yep. Well, thank you, Hot Tub Brian. But that's the deal, man. You got to go work through that stuff, bro. You're not going to do it alone, but the one thing I would just want to portray is you can work through it. There is hope. The other side is freaking green. Your little dark little, foresty, burnt down. We always call it like, you're like a tornado spinning through the world, right? Everything around you is just like spinning out of control. There is grass on the other side. There's green grass on the other side. It's very green. It's very nice. And you're welcome to go walk in it, and you can. Just most of the time, we got to go ask for help for stuff like that. You can fix it, brother. Do not feel you can't. Just once you can let go of the idea that I'm going to cure all this on my own, and that you probably have tried doing that for the last 5 years and it has totally not worked, you can go get some help, man. There's professionals out there who will do it. And if you're having a hard time, maybe somebody else is aware of your problem and they will be more than willing. And maybe they're like desperate to help you. And they're like, oh my gosh, he asked for help. They're going to like actively go try to find you the best thing to do. So just reach out to anybody, your friends, your family, or professionals, and they'll help you get where you need to go. Justin Wiles, TXMC says market goes up after yield inversion, then goes down. I took his analysis to say we are going to a high next, matches Wyckoff. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to watch all the TXMC videos right now. I can see that, But thank you, Justin. Robert702 says, you're watching good content when someone in the chat says like, and I automatically feel guilty that I forgot.
I never do this for any other YouTube content. Thank you, BCB. You're the best. By the way, when mun. Yes, we're 7 away from 1,000 likes. You just turn this whole, forget all about the charge, turn the whole thing into AA. Thank you, Robert. B Digital 589, new member. Thank you. Chris De Leon, new member. Welcome. Daniel Canyenzales. That's a different one. Thank you. Feline, what BCB just said reeks of privilege. So if you went through complex trauma and abuse, please remember it takes longer time for us to recover, but we can. Okay, that's a very Feline. What that also is an enabling statement that you have made to enable your own behavior. First of all, complex trauma certainly requires, that requires professional help. Again, like I'm saying, professional help, and that's going to take a whole lot more than anything of holding resentments. Anybody who has been a victim of a serious crime, you as well can be helped, but 100% need some type of professional help. But that is definitely different than what I'm talking about. But Feline, you clearly haven't done any of that at all. Daniel Kenyonzales, Senor BCB, besides US and Algo, where can I... Oh, geez, 50x my next bag. Just kidding. Hit the like button. We're almost 1K already. Have a good weekend full of medium steaks. Medium, I will accept anybody who will eat a medium steak. The second the word well gets put in there is when we start struggling a little bit. But yeah, as for next week, you guys, next week is a silly week because we have a holiday right in the middle of it here in the United States. There's a holiday right there in the middle on Tuesday. So we won't have anything on Tuesday, and I will be straight with you. It's unlikely we'll have a video on Wednesday. We can likely do markets in the morning on Wednesday, but unlikely that we'll have a video. So over the course of the next 5 days, it's a good chance to go watch all those videos if you've already gotten the course on BC Backer, because we'll just be a little spotty because it's a holiday week, and I have family coming in from out of town. And we always do fireworks, we do barbecue, we do all that stuff. We act like, American. That's how we act. So yeah, we'll be doing that next week. But also today is such a huge day for me because I put out the newsletter. I put out the market update this morning. We've done markets in the morning. The only thing I have left today before I start the weekend is to create a YouTube video here for the channel. And then I am taking the weekend off. I've been working 16 hours a day for months on end. That has officially come to a conclusion today. If you guys noticed, that newsletter went out at like 11 o'clock last night. 4 a.m. to 11. We're done, man. We're done. Okay, when I tweeted the night before, I was like, hey, have a good night. Like 10 at night. I'm getting a little silly over here, and I'm ready to enjoy a wonderful weekend with my family, eat some pizza, eat some ice cream, and chill. But as we head into the weekend, good ending, good conclusion here to the quarter, to the month, and to the half here for the stock market. We had the same thing going on over there for the crypto market. We'll see if we can catch ourselves a recovery. But we still have quite a bit of green in the market. Members, I'll hit you guys up on the community notes for tomorrow morning. Otherwise, let's do it. Let's wrap the dang thing up. Free Kip gifted 5 blockchain backer memberships. Sick Thinker gifted 5. Man, thank you guys. Everybody's getting hooked up in the chat. You guys, amazing. All right, Eric's posting the frogs. Cheers, guys. And then we always hang out in the chat for 5 minutes after the live stream is over. Yeah, but okay. Anyway, there you go. All this is out there for you guys. 40 videos, 11 hours of content. Check it out over the weekend. Have yourselves a wonderful, safe time. All right, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live.
As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.